Hi everyone, it's Nancy, and I'm back with our next set of tags, the Anne Brooke 52 tag handmade challenge, and tags 23 through 26. And every Friday, Anne always surprises me with what she's come up with creatively to do next. Today's tag was my favorite of all. She posted this morning, well, I don't know if it's morning for her, but she posted beaded fringe. I'm so excited. I thought, well, you better get my video out on these tags before I get going on that tag. So anyway, here I am. Tag 23 was a bunch of flowers, and I did a bouquet instead of a garden kind of scene because I already did a garden scene before. And so I basically just stitched in all my greens first, and then I went around and I did the little lavender stitches inside the fly stitch, or the, I can't remember. Yeah, no, that's not, well, it doesn't matter what stitch it is. It's a bouquet of flowers. I did it all on dark brown velvet, and I used a piece of really heavy duty upholstery fabric for my vessel, for my flowers to be in. I wanted something that looked artsy, and I think that kind of covers it. When I was all done putting all the flowers in, I went in and put little tiny seed stitches in a dark bright red to offer a detail and a contrast and something interesting to look at that wasn't part of the architect of the bouquet, just to make it look like something more was going on than what's really going on. Almost everything in there is just French knots or some sort of straight little stitch or a lazy daisy. Yeah, I think that's such a pretty tag. The next one was tatting. I had a lot of fun doing the tatting, but I couldn't master the next step. All I could do was make pretty little circles. So yeah, and I didn't know what to do with my circles when I was all done. I couldn't decide if I should hang them this way to look like a thing of balloons or flowers, or hang them this way and look like some, decoration that you would hang at a party or something. I will need to explore how to master that because I love them. I think they're pretty, and I loved the cadence of making them, wrapping the thread around my finger and everything. It was a wonderful experience, and I loved it, but every time I wanted to go to the next step or make a chain or do a loop, something different than this little circle, I just made a big knotty mess. And so it's going to take some time to master that skill set. But I'm going to. I thought it was I've always loved tatting. The next one was to weave, and I am a weaver from years and years and years ago. So I had a lot to pick from, and I decided to do something fun and unusual. That's how that tag looks, and I'm kind of explain what these are. Let me show you what I used. So for this piece of the weaving, it is wool chenille. It almost looks like a little caterpillar, and it's so full of lint and fibers because it was in a fiber scrap bag. But that's what that is, and it's fun to knit this, although it will back out of a piece of knitting fabric and make like these weird little loops. So I don't recommend knitting with such a highly textured wool chenille. But for weaving, it's just awesome. It made it looks like chenille or velvet. The piece that's here is actually hand spun. Some of my little bit of hand spun. I can't remember. This is more than 20 years old, so I can't remember what little sheep this was. But that's what it looks like all scrunched down in that spot. So there's thick and thin, and it just kind of makes a lovely piece of firm fabric. The other thing I did was I used curly locks from Angora goats, and this is what it looks like when you get it. If you get it from a person who raises their goats really clean. So their little locks are like that, and I use this in all kinds of different artwork. I weave with it like this, like I stuck it in there. I also knit with the locks, like I will knit 2 or 3 stitches in just a plain little fabric, and then I'll knit 1 stitch with the back of the lock, and so I can get cuffs that hang and be really fluffy and hairy. Sometimes I spin with it, and here's a here's a little scrap that's left from this piece. That's the last little bit of that hot turquoise. And here's another color, and when I spin from it, let's see if it'll work from here. When I spin from it, I just spin from the middle and start twisting, and I make yarn that looks like that. And so when I knit it, I have all these little loopy curls and fluffy bits sticking out of my yarn. Kind of like a bouquet is what I'm making when I spin it. And then the other thing I did in my tag was this little piece and this little piece are a collection of threads, or yarns I should say, that are braided. One of the yarns is a black wool blue bouquet, and it's just one of those curly back on itself kind of yarns. Then this one is a tweed, green and gold and black and turquoise. It's a real pretty, it looks gorgeous woven or knitted. And then this is 100% Angora bunny rabbit, this bright teal, dark teal. And when I braided them together, it made a really, really pretty piece of fiber. You can see what it looks like with just the braid. And I put it down here in the bottom. I also have another little piece of white thread that was like eyelash thread, and or yarns, and I didn't like the eyelashes sticking out. Everything looked so natural and organic, and the eyelashy things looked so out of place being made with polyester and nylon. So I just trimmed. I didn't want to unweave it, so I just trimmed them out. But that's how that looks. Isn't that pretty, the blue and the green and the black together? But it's in there and here. And that's that tag. Excuse all my fluffy stuff. Ooh. And then the last tag was a medal for ourselves for making it halfway through the project. And I looked around. I used to have all kinds of medal-y charm things and watch faces and all kinds of stuff, and for some reason I just couldn't master it up. So so many people had used something that inspired me that was related to stitching. And I have a pair of earrings that my sister-in-law or my sister-in-law gave me a few years ago, like maybe 10 years ago or so. And I loved wearing them, but I wouldn't wear those earrings now just because, I don't know, they're just too cute and too flashy and too attention getting. But they have all the little things. There's a little safety pin and scissors and a little spool of thread. And I pinned it to a cluster of, I stitched down my vintage lace first, that beautiful piece of lace. And then I did my cluster with dyed cheesecloth, a piece of sari silk, and vintage doily or lace, and a little piece of ribbon to bring the green back up. And that's my medal to myself for sticking to this. And I like it because it's the charm of the things we're doing with thread and scissors and stitching and stuff. So yeah, there we are, all 4 of those tags. And I can't believe it's halfway. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I know I say this every time, I enjoy everything everyone else is doing too. I actually enjoy it more than I enjoy mine because I look at yours and I go, oh no, I should have done. But anyway, thanks for coming and visiting and watching my video and hanging out with me for a few minutes. I will, yeah, I will probably get started on my bead fringe tag as soon as I get this uploaded. And thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. Bye-bye for now.